The little village between the golden hills had fallen into the deepest quiet of the night. Every window was dark and sleeping, except one. Marco's window glowed warm and soft. Marco lay in his bed in his pale blue pajamas, eyes wide open, completely awake. His red kite hung still on the bedroom wall, catching the soft silver moonlight. He turned to one side, then the other, his eyes still open, still gently awake. After a long while, Marco sat up slowly and pushed his warm covers aside. He looked through his bedroom window at the silver moonlit village below, quiet and completely still. Marco made a quiet decision. He would go outside, just for a little while, just to look. The front door opened very slowly into the warm, soft darkness of the summer night beyond. Marco stepped onto the cool cobblestones in bare feet, the stones smooth and real beneath him. The village square lay bathed in silver moonlight, every cobblestone glowing, every shadow long and gentle. The fountain ran softly at the center, its water catching the moonlight in tiny silver ripples. The mural wall glowed in the moonlight, the painted hills and the painted kite, silver and beautiful. Marco stood in the center of the square and looked all around him. Everything was completely at rest. And then, in the warm dark of the sleeping village, Marco noticed a soft light in Lena's window. He walked slowly toward it across the moonlit cobblestones, his bare feet making no sound at all. Lena's window glowed with the warm, flickering light of a single candle, soft against the deep blue night. Marco stood on tiptoe and peeked through the glass. Lena was sitting at her desk, pencil in hand. She was drawing slowly and carefully, her pencil moving across the page in soft, quiet strokes. Page after page of soft, pencil drawings, and the sleeping village, the moonlit fountain, the mural wall at night. Marco tapped on the window very gently, 3 soft taps, so quiet they were almost part of the night. Lena looked up. Her quiet, dark eyes found Marco's face at the window, and her small, warm smile returned. A moment later, they were sitting together on the cool stone step outside her door, side by side, in the warm dark. Lena opened her sketchbook on her lap and tilted it gently toward the moonlight so Marco could see. Marco turned the pages slowly, each one more beautiful than the last, the whole village seen through Lena's eyes. He looked at Lena. She was looking at the village with the same expression she always had, seeing something nobody else could. She drew at night, she told him quietly, because everything was most beautiful when the world was completely still. Marco sat with that thought for a long, quiet moment. Something restless inside him began very slowly to settle. After a while, they both noticed another light, warm and steady, from the direction of Eli's workshop. They walked toward it, slowly together, their feet soft on the
I draw
moonlit
at night
cobblestones,
because everything
the
is most
warm
beautiful
summer
when it is
night
still.
around them. Eli was sitting outside his workshop on a low wooden stool, head tilted all the way back, looking at the stars. He had a small notebook open on his knee, a piece of chalk making careful, quiet marks in the starlight. He heard them coming and looked down with his warm, certain smile, as if he had been expecting them all along. He showed them his notebook, a careful map of the stars above the village, every constellation marked with precise and beautiful lines. Each star had a pattern, Eli told them quietly. Everything in the sky was in exactly the right place, as it always had been. The 3 of them lay back in the soft summer grass, side by side, looking straight up into the blazing summer sky. The stars
Look,
were
the stars are perfect
extraordinary
tonight.
that night.
Wow,
Hundreds of
Eli,
them,
did you draw all
blazing and
these? The
still
lines
and
connect the
impossibly
stars so
beautiful all at
beautifully.
once.
I did.
Eli
We should find
pointed
them.
out
You
a
see, each star has
constellation,
its own
his
pattern,
voice barely above
and
a whisper,
everything is in
the
exactly
shape
its
of
right
it
place.
becoming visible the moment he named it. Marco stared up at the stars and felt something inside him slow down, the way a spinning top slows before it rests. The three of them lay side by side in the warm summer grass, completely quiet, completely together, looking up at the same sky. After a long while, they rose slowly and walked on through the sleeping village toward the old garden at the edge of the lane. And there, exactly as Marco somehow knew they would, they found Leo. Leo was sitting on the stone bench, both large hands resting open and completely still on his sage green pajama knees. Around him, drifting and swirling through the warm summer air, were dozens of fireflies, their tiny golden lights blinking softly in the dark. The fireflies moved around Leo as if he was simply part of the garden, as if his stillness made him belong to the night. One by one, they landed briefly on his large, open hands, stayed for a moment, then lifted away again into the warm dark. Leo did not move, did not speak, just watched them with his large, bright green eyes full of the quietest and most complete joy. Marco and Lena and Eli sat softly in the grass beside Leo, and the fireflies swirled gently around all four of them together. A firefly drifted close to Marco's face, hovered, then landed very gently on the very tip of his nose. Marco went completely cross-eyed, trying to look at it, and Leo, quiet, steady, gentle Leo, let out the softest and warmest laugh. The fireflies rose above all four of them in a slow golden spiral, their tiny lights blinking softly against the deep midnight blue sky. Marco lay back in the cool garden grass and watched them rise and felt something so peaceful and so full it had no name. After a long, beautiful while, the four of them rose slowly and walked on toward the far edge of the village. Nina's window was the brightest of all, a warm, golden glow spilling onto the cobblestones below, full of warm, industrious light. They gathered at the window and looked inside. Nina was at her desk, surrounded on every side by open notebooks and scattered pencils. But Nina, for once, was not writing, was not calculating, was not planning or measuring or mapping anything at all. Nina had fallen completely and deeply asleep at her desk, her head resting on the open pages of her largest notebook, glasses slightly askew. A pencil still held loosely in her sleeping fingers, her wild curly hair spread softly around her completely peaceful, sleeping face. Marco looked at her through the glass and felt something warm and fond rise in his chest, the way you feel when someone you love is safe. Lena opened her sketchbook quietly and began drawing, quick, soft, careful strokes, capturing Nina sleeping surrounded by all her work and all her dreams. Eli leaned close to the glass and looked at the open notebook under Nina's sleeping head and smiled his quiet, certain smile. And Leo, with the same extraordinary gentleness he had given to fireflies, reached carefully toward Nina's slightly open window and, very carefully, without making a sound, without waking her, straightened Nina's slightly askew glasses on her completely sleeping face. The four of them looked at each other in the warm dark and smiled. Without a single word, they understood everything. They walked back through the sleeping village together, slowly, the moonlit cobblestones cool beneath their feet, the summer night, warm around them. They passed the mural wall. It glowed silver and gold in the moonlight,
Goodnight.
more beautiful than ever in the clean, still night. At his doorstep, Leo stopped. He turned and raised one large hand in a slow, quiet wave, his bright green eyes warm and completely at peace. At his workshop door, Eli stopped. He turned and nodded once, warmly and completely, the nod of someone who has said everything without needing words. Lena walked Marco all the way to his front door. She squeezed his hand once gently and then let go without a word. Marco stood alone at his front door and looked back at the sleeping village, the fountain, the mural, his friends' dark windows. Everything silver, everything still, everything exactly as it should be, resting and breathing and dreaming in the warm, quiet summer night. Marco took one long, slow breath of the warm summer air. He could smell the garden, the fountain, the old stone, the night itself. He went inside. He climbed the stairs slowly. He pulled back his warm covers and climbed into his waiting bed. He lay back against his pillow and looked up at the ceiling. But it was different now. Everything was completely different now. His eyes were softer, heavier. The restlessness that had kept him awake, completely gone, replaced by something warm and full and deeply quiet. The red kite on his wall caught the moonlight coming through his window, glowing softly red and gold in the silver dark. Marco's eyes grew heavier. From outside his window, very soft.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more stories.
We'll see you next time.